Now, just to follow up this learning, so simple question: what can the knowledge professional learn from AI? Because I mean, AI is opaque, so they don't know what's happening inside. So just maybe you could.
Sorry, just AI is opaque and it only is going to give you leading indicators. So if you know what the AI used to make the decision, you still can't get a sense of causes. You still have to figure out a lot more. Even if we get rid of that explainability, will only tell, as Stella was highlighting, explainability is only going to tell us what the AI used as a predictor. But that's a leading indicator, that's not a cause. And there's a lot, that's going to be a big problem. And I think that we need to go beyond explainability, actually, if we want to sort of think about learning. And I think but what we are seeing, so I'll give you one great example. We're doing a study, I'm doing a study with Elizabeth Yang that's looking at nurses using AI. Nurses are remember, the occupational jurisdictions, at least in the US, so Summer is in Canada, I'll point out, they're way better in Canada. But in the US, the doctors make the diagnoses and the nurses have to basically respond to commands. Their position is very limited. They want to be predicting what's going to happen, but they very often are in the position of just having to carry out orders. And so we're seeing that, Stella highlighted, nurses can be trained to use these diagnostic tools, and then it expands their role. So for us, helping them to identify cases of deterioration, of likely deterioration 12 hours in advance, so that they can take steps a priori, which they never did before. It means a shift from thinking about addressing the problems that are in front of them to thinking about predicting problems that are going to emerge. And that's like a massive change in roles, which requires understanding these causal factors. So that is it's learning that is not just learning the facts, but also a learning that is a shift in the way you think about occupational problems, just as an example. Maybe others have.
Can I address this? And I want to address the first question too, because I think the two are linked. It's easy for us to think that the occupational member or the doctor are in charge of what is being implemented. And when you think about it, they are not in charge. It's the organization, it's the managers above them that are making decisions to implement what kind of AI for what kind of money. And for those people, the utility function is very different than augmenting your job, and they may go more toward replacing you or toward de-skilling you, right? And even for it's obvious, we have just in this panel, you have heard many examples, and I'm sure you have in your own field work, that AI can be a great augmenter for in many situations, but that's not necessarily the future that's gonna develop. So it's really important for us not to have rosy-colored glasses on for this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you're familiar with that. In the I think it was 1974, that Braverman already mentioned his work, and that's basically what you're saying. If we use a technology to, let's say, to kick out these professionals, then of course there will be rejection. But if we could develop the AI more in the sense that it will support this, and I will give you an example maybe. In healthcare, you see that medical doctors and others also believe and embrace the concept of biomarkers. But biomarker is in a way also a leading indicator. And you see now in pharma, for instance, that they are more and more developing to digital biomarkers. A very famous, an example many of you know is an MRI scan is basically a digital biomarker. So maybe we can also use a language that the medical field is familiar with and that they have embraced, and see how we can use this technology in that sense and talk about digital biomarkers instead of artificial intelligence.